Welcome back to Exposed TV, the home of Blaha of YouTube. I'm your new host, Arnold. It seems that Jason is back at it with his mercenary claims. First, let us recap some of the bullshit he has told us previously.
Okay, let me make this clear. I am very quiet about my background. I don't discuss my background, my full history. Most of you are not going to be able to find my background. There are people in this industry who have dug it up. It's not a pride thing. It just is what it is.
He's going to claim the classified stuff, the CIA. There are no records of me.
Classified?
Could be.
You go on to kill bin Laden and things like that, that does not remove your name.
Classified.
Pretty much.
Yes, I have a classified background.
Next time any of you hear anybody say, I can't tell you it was classified, take your finger and shove it in his eye as hard as you fucking can.
Because I can tell you how I would deal with it, but I can also tell you that the overwhelming majority of people, they do not have the background or the skill set to successfully stalk somebody, get away with it, dust their tracks, leave no alibi, leave no real forensic evidence, and how to set it up to make it look like somebody else did it with a completely different motive. They're emotional, they attack in anger. And if that's the case, you will get caught. So, I'm going to recommend that you do not try to go after this person. If someone becomes a threat to me or people that I love, I make them go away. Because I know that you can't provide security that has the same level of training that I have. And for those who don't understand, I trained at the farm at Langley. Anyone who knows what that is knows what that means. You can't provide security capable of providing the security I can provide for myself, non-negotiable. And I'm not going to go into the details, but yes, I have killed armed men in my life. That's nobody's business. That's my own background. And it's not something I want to brag about or talk about. And no, I was never in the military, but that doesn't mean that I didn't serve my country. That doesn't mean that I never risked my life for my country. It doesn't mean I never killed for my country.
We insist on a minimum of 10 years experience in high security areas, or people who are in special forces units, special law enforcement units such as tactical teams, hostage rescue teams, etc.
You want somebody generally coming from a military background or from a tactical background, because there's a lot of weapons use involved. The driving skills are different in that environment than they are in a city environment if you drive.
Even those closest to Jason told us that he was never a mercenary. For instance, his ex-wife.
A team of inner-city CIA members from the fitness crew have been in contact in the last couple of days on Facebook with Anna Blaha, the former wife of Jason Blaha. Messages with the following information have been received by Miss Blaha, which seem to undermine the truth of Jason's involvement in the military and as a private mercenary. The question asked, was Jason in the CIA, a mercenary, and has he killed a man? The astonishing answer received by Miss Blaha and her response is as follows. No, he was not in the CIA or military, never killed anyone. More questions were asked about their relationship. Miss Blaha stated the following. He quit his job when he started getting bouts of vertigo. He played World of Warcraft at least 10 hours a day. None of the doctors I took him to while we were together could ever find out anything wrong. So of course the marriage was over. I kicked him out and stopped supporting him.
Even his father confirmed that Jason was never a mercenary.
The specific question was whether or not you actually knew of any company, legitimate company, that he would have been working under possibly 10 to 15 years ago, if that was specific.
He was working there 10 to 15 years ago. He was working in the warehouse. Well, he did work as a contractor for, I can't even think of the name of the company he worked for.
Do you know anything regarding the specific role? I take it that was...
He was a laborer.
So it was building work as opposed to soldier or mercenary work.
What kind of work?
Well, in the video we were sent, he claims to have been a mercenary, as in a mercenary, yeah, private security, as in performing.
No. He was working on compressors and engines.
So he was never intelligence.
Manual labor.
Oh, I see. Okay. Sorry, sir, because it sounds like this may well have been a bogus claim we've been sent, and I apologise for bringing you guys into this then, but it was because he specifically said on video that he was doing, and I quote, snatch and grab operations, which was a job that you had got him based on your previous background as a soldier. This was his words.
Well, that's not true.
Even after all this, Jason is still claiming that he was a mercenary. Let's now watch his latest fairy tale.
So President Clinton was the president from the time I was 17 all the way until I was 25. I was scouted out for certain types of work before I even finished high school. Again, due to my family, my upbringing, connections certain members of my families might have had, along with my shooting skills. The gang wars had spilled into the streets. We had an enormous amount of death and violence in this country due to the gang wars and the drugs and the drug cartels and everything going on. We were in the middle of the drug wars, or some people like to call them the powder wars. There was massive fighting all through Mexico, Central America, dealing with drug cartels, everyone from the DEA trying to crack down on them. So we'll call it a hunter. I was a hunter of exotic game, if that will make you guys feel better. And a pretty good chunk of the game that I hunted was a very dangerous type of game that did some sort of masonry or bricklaying, because they stacked bricks of some type up.
So Jason is alluding to being a hired mercenary to battle the South American drug cartels, whereas in the past he has always alluded to fighting in the Middle East.
I actually know something about advanced interrogation techniques. I used to do snatch and grabs and interrogate people out in the field as a contractor years ago. Same thing out in the field. These dumbass Hajis out in the Middle East don't know anything about science. And in my experience, Hajis can't even fight anyways. You guys suck at combat. In a country that I'm not going to discuss the name of, and not going to discuss any of the people involved, I observed a fairly lightweight person who was hit at around 300 yards twice with a green tip. The first time he was hit, he was riding atop of a donkey, and he was hit in the torso, and he fell off the donkey, hit the ground. He then stood up and picked up his AK-47 that he was holding and chambered a round, at which time the individual shot him again, and again approximately 300 yards. He fell down to fight, and this is just something I observed once that exactly falls into what's described here. So people.
Two conflicting stories by Jason. When will his lies end? This is how Jason is answering all the experts that say that you need military experience to become a mercenary.
But people keep saying only mercenaries, only people who become mercenaries are people who were in the military, who were combat veterans. Look at what was going on in the mid and late 90s in the United States, nearby countries, and all around the world. What military veterans? There were no veterans, logistically speaking. Where were people going to get veterans to do the massive amount of exotic game hunting and similar work that was being done?
Since the collapse of the Berlin Wall in 1989, the market has been flooded with soldiers. They needed something to make money, and the only way they could make money was to sell the skills they had, which were military skills.
There were over 20 million veterans in the United States in the 90s. Why would they need Blaha? And then Blaha goes on to say that he was just a disposable asset.
And the beautiful part, all of these young men were completely disposable. Completely disposable assets at the end of the day. We got worked hard, and sometimes we got broken. And since none of these men were members of the military, none of us were members of government agencies, we had no VA benefits, we had no access to resources when things went wrong, because everything was done clandestinely. Latibre factum.
But Jason, why do you keep bullshitting us with this, and why do you claim that you had some FBI VIP status?
I have purchased 4 new firearms this year that required background checks. The people note when they do my background checks that mine come back faster than just about anybody they've ever seen, and the reason for that is I actually have a file at the FBI. They keep a file on me, and because I have easy access data for them, I get auto-cleared really, really fast. It usually takes about 30 seconds for my background check to go through. My psychological records, they have full access to all my... And because I've previously had security clearance and I have a completely clean criminal record, I have never been arrested, I've never gotten a speeding ticket on record, nothing like that.
Oh, really? So you've been arrested in 1999 and found guilty for unlawfully carrying a weapon.
that for me it's easy to pass. In fact, I qualify for class 3 weapons easily. I can pass the background checks to get suppressors, short-barreled shotguns, fully automatic weapons. I have no trouble qualifying for these things legally. So when I talk about the background checks, I'm not worried about myself. I am way in the clear. I can get anything I want, not a problem.
Stop it! Stop it!
Those of you who don't believe any of this, that's okay. I really don't give a fuck. I'm still telling my story. This is what it is, and if you don't believe me, fuck you, go fuck yourself, I don't care. For all these guys who are veterans, who are standing there still screaming about your valor, stolen valor, after what I just told you, that sounds like I'm stealing any of your valor, you know what? Fuck you, kid. And go fuck yourself. I don't really care what you think. But I will tell you this, if you decide that you're going to come confront me physically about it, you better not be a fucking pog. You better be a stone cold killer. If you come at me aggressively, voice raised, negative body language as someone who I know is a trained killer. Because I don't flinch anymore when I hear a rifle round come by my head. When I hear that whoop and that snap or that sonic boom, I haven't flinched in 20 years from that shit. I got over that a long time ago. So if you come at me, I want you to know, son, it's not going to be me who goes in the ground. I'm still here. I'm still upright and drawing air.
Jason, if what you're saying is true, then you don't need to worry about veterans confronting you, because by your own admission, the FBI is going to throw you in prison.
No, I don't talk about my past because I used to work in intelligence. I worked in intelligence until I cracked under the stress from the PTSD, and then they terminated me and told me that if I ever talked about specifically what I did, that I would spend the rest of my life in prison. So yeah, I'm a little bit fucked up. I'm a little bit crazy.
You'll often find that the guy who looks like a real sharp dude is a big hulking bunch of muscle, and he looks really mean and cool and very experienced, and his CV says all the good things and nice things. You'll find out he's a complete tosser, and he knows fuck all, and he's never done anything. And what he does is he screws it all up, and he's got this mental idea of himself as being some kind of in a movie, you know, some kind of an actor.
The general public is fascinated with the concept of mercenary because most of the people in the general public lead very swaddled lives. They don't have much excitement. They don't have, since the draft went away, most of them have no military experience at all. So they live vicariously through these things.
Let me ask you guys a question. Does this man look like he was actually a mercenary? This soft pussy? This fat obese man that looks like he's suffering from Klinefelter syndrome? No way.